On the 19th of March, I decided to go dark, and it's been a while. Due in part that I have literally been working like a madman on the game, trying to sort out a load of things for the demo. That means I had to make up a massive list of stuff that I needed to do, and it was list upon list upon list. That being said, let's just get into what I've actually developed. First things first, I created elevators. Elevators are pretty standard and something that I actually kind of needed for the player to actually get into and out of the main keep within the actual main city of Eärundir. Next up, I really wanted to actually focus more on the combat system. This was like combat notifications and everything when you were actually fighting said mob. Any of these mobs that you needed to know how much damage you were actually doing to the actual base creature, and thus I actually added that widget into that on the combat system, as well as linking all the combat system up with the items to go alongside that. As well as all of this, when an enemy actually attacks you, this will actually show as well as all of that. I also implemented sounds and sound effects towards the entire attacks, and that is something that I really wanted to just make and have set up at the ready for the demo, because that just makes sense. Along with that, I wanted a basic main UI for the current creature you are attacking. This is so you could actually see the health bar and also like their icon to go with them, as well as the name of the creature you are actually slaying. This will actually help because when you're actually doing quests, you might not know what creature you're actually attacking, and on the quest log it will tell you what type of creature you probably should be attacking, especially if it's like a slay quest or something to that effect. So a little name tag right in the top right. This will give a little bit of information, but I didn't want to crowd the UI too much, so I tried to keep it as minimal as possible. Along with all of that, I made bushes, and for instance with bushes I just decided to copy something from WoW, where I was actually doing a nice little gold farm on my character for my druid, and I noticed outside of the instance that it was literally just 2D sprites that all had been meshed together to make a bush. So I just went, oh, I can just do that idea, and then implemented that into the game. So now we have bushes along with mushrooms. Yep, the reason that I only chose the mushrooms is because literally me and my other half actually do go mushroom picking every now and then when it's mushrooms season, and that is something that I know grows in the forest. So I was like, okay, let's just add mushrooms. So I added Barvika, or otherwise penny bun mushrooms, into the actual game. This will actually be gatherable, but at this moment in time not. Along with that, I implemented music towards the game, so we had the bass music just automatically playing. This was something that was just to increase immersion, so I went back to the freelancer that did my first set of music, and we set it up one for the main capital city of that particular region of Eärundir. What I actually wanted to do is just have it transition over, and that's what we've got at this moment in time. Is that's all set up along with all the other keynote sounds that can actually go along with this, as well as footsteps on the grass, to actually give a bit more immersion and just having that much more of an effect for your character, to just because we really want to immerse someone into the game. So you want those tiny little sound effects for little things that you do. This goes in part for when you're accepting quest lines and everything like that, so a little ding will actually show up for you. This followed on with gathering. I set up all the animations for gathering professions, and that means that you are able to now cut down trees for wood, you're able to mine ore that is dotted around the area, and also you can use your herbalism to gather up different types of materials from there. This is more of a crafting focused RPG, and that is just something I really wanted to focus in on and make make sure that actually works. So I applied all of those different types of animations towards those characters, as well as sound effects for each different one, so you know what you're actually doing. The only other thing that I would add to this is probably some notifications to know what you've actually looted. That would make sense, and I'll probably will be implementing that in the future. To go inside with crafting, I actually implemented the crafted mount. Now, we only have one crafted mount at this moment in time, and you can find this through a recipe. With this recipe, you can just learn it, and under blacksmithing, you'll be able to craft this mount, providing you have enough iron ore, wood, and also arcanium. I've implemented the arcanium crystal as a rare drop, and along with that, it will also auto dismount you if you go into a house, along with if you go in towards the capital city, as well as if you are speaking to someone, attacking, or anything trivial to that effect where it will require your character to dismount, it will do that for you. So I implemented that, and it increases your base running speed. Following on to that, I did add doors towards the majority of the houses. This is so you can interact with them with the interact key, which is currently on 3, but it can be key bound differently under your settings. I decided to actually have doors that open up and then set different types of variables, whether they're going to be already open or closed, or if doors are not going to be applied at all to a specific house. This is so that the world doesn't look all the same with all locked doors, and on the begin play it will actually decide whether or not it will actually be open, closed, or disappear. That is something I just really wanted to play around with and make sure everything was going quite well with that. As well as that, I kind of made a blimp. Yeah, with the blimp, I actually went into the modeling section in my Unreal Engine and decided to make up the blimp. I knew I wanted a blimp that would carry you from Aronda to Skúvoyar, and overall with the Erundir region, it will not go into Erundir, but it will fly over Erundir. I wanted that to give a bit more of an immersion, so when the player actually starts playing the game, they can see that the world is a lot bigger than what you are seeing right now, and it will hopefully just slightly trigger some people to actually go and have a look in those different regions. The world will expand out, and then you can leave that continent. However, with that being said, I want the blimp to be able to take you from Aronda to Skúvoyar in a relatively fast manner, but also being able to overlook the entire continent at the exact same time. It's just something so simple that I really like, that makes the world feel a bit more alive, that things are happening without you particularly doing anything. People are going about their daily life. Along with that, I drew up a load of new gear. I decided to actually come up with a load of new sets for gear, and overall I made 23 equipable new items. This in part goes as 2 sets of boots, 3 sets of helms, 4 sets of legs, 4 sets of chests, 4 shoulders, and 6 different types of weapons. For the demo, I'm pretty certain this would be enough, as I don't want it to be a full-fledged game, but I want you to have an inkling into the world, and I really thought that the base set was not good enough, and I wanted the characters and the other NPCs to have other different types of armor sets as well, so I decided to actually go ahead and make all of those ahead of time, as well as apply animations towards the chest piece in order to actually attack said creatures and move in tandem with all of that. So that will happen with the NPCs and your main character at the exact same time. So now you can actually be an Aronian guardsman by the time you actually use your blacksmithing to create all that set. And along with that, to actually finish up everything, I actually started development on Trix's house. At this moment in time, it looks a little bit janky, so yeah. But other than that, it has a spline that it will move along, as well as the blimp has a spline as well. This means that it's going to run no matter what around this section and just keep looping round that entire area. This is so when you get to Trix's area, you see a big colossal Howl's Moving Castle-esque thing, and I've really thought that would be really cool. There's no real reason for it. I just kind of thought that the alchemist is just a bit peculiar and a little bit eccentric, and I decided to go with that, as what I have planned for her quest lines is a little bit crazy, so I figured why not give her a crazy house in which she resides where all the elementals are fighting each other. But along with that, everything else with the actual development, we're actually getting quite along with everything building out quite a bit. So I have gone ahead and there are a few different types of things that I actually need to do. I need to finish off the NPC list in general, and that is like adding dialogue to the characters, placement, guards, vendors, and an array of different types of people just walking around, going about their daily life, trying to make it as immersive as possible with those characters just going from to and from the different areas. Along with that, I also need to re-implement quests, because at the beginning I deleted every single quest. That is because I did a complete overhaul on the quest giver and I wanted to start off fresh with those, because some of these quests were a bit janky, they didn't work or anything to that effect, so I completely rebuilt everything. That is why a lot of my development time actually took me a long time, is because I completely destroyed an entire system and then just rebuilt it because it wasn't working to the standard that I required. Along with that, I need to finish up the inventory system with all the item data. Item data just needs to be filled in, given dialogue, extra stuff, along with like quest objective IDs to actually complete said quest when you're crafting, looting, or what have you, as well as a lootable item system. Once that's all said and done, I should be able to then go into the finesse mode where I'm just tidying up everything for the demo, and then I will be able to release that demo for everyone to check out, and then we can finally start development on another area. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I shall see you later.